Welcome, everyone, all of you, the entire world, the planet of humans, to the Empath X community call. I'm glad that we have the delegates and representatives present on the call here today. I'm Jeremy. Glad to be here with you. I want to make sure everybody knows that over at empathx.org, this community without conditions that invites everyone to bring what is uniquely their own to be involved in all sorts of different things. Like we've got an archive there, we have a schedule there, there is a place to make a contribution, join the Facebook group, all that stuff. So just want to make sure everybody knows about that. As always, we have a little starting segment teaching to kick off our little discussion here today and gathering of just dropping in and being together. Today, I get the privilege to facilitate said conversation, and I'd like to begin with this idea of surfing the beingness waves. And it was this idea of just being in the art of living that is really like every time we wake up, just so many people that have been getting the gift to support through these big giant waves of life, just that it keeps like waves keep riding higher. And there's this dear friend of mine that I've been helping out, and that just came through this support and her navigating her own stuff and stepping in. That there's this experience of like it just seems like it's non-ending. It's like that's the thing. That's it. It's like a Groundhog Day, but it's different every day instead of it being the same every day. But the more it's different, the more it's the same. Because in this space of having a moth fly in your face, it is much the similar. It's like there's just this little flicker of things that are there to take you in an experience. So much like if you've never experienced waves before on an ocean, which I grew up in, growing to the Pacific, it's just there's so many elements you can't imagine that are involved in this thing, and that's so true for life. Is I think oftentimes we think of this idea of the surfing the beingness waves, and I'm reminded in this support with this friend that is like a big piece of my talk this evening that we first skip over the most meaningful piece of just being able to look at the hard thing that we're facing. That oh, this is hard. I don't like this. I don't want this. I'm having this overwhelm. I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling this, I'm in the thickness. I feel like I want to die. All these horrible, terrible things. And I remind ourselves that just like surfing, it's just get out into the ocean first. We oftentimes find ourselves in the middle of these crashing waves and don't give ourselves credit for just being out in the waves. That the alternative for that is that we quit surfing altogether, that we stop living life, that we stop analyzing, we stop holding space, we stop looking at those things that are up for us. And I think that is like this connection to my story, my whole thing to like bring it full circle and have a couple little things come through. But is a thing I vaguely remember. I don't know if it was somebody told my dad when he was surfing as a kid. I just remember in this surfing analogy was like, just remember the first thing that you're doing is just getting out into the Pacific Ocean. Like, like wrap your head around, like, who cares how good you're doing? You're getting to be in this miraculous experience of being in the Pacific. Like, how mind blowing is this thing? And we usually almost always totally forget that context. That I'm out there having this empathic, overwhelming, crushing. Pick the worst thing. You smash my finger. Oh my God. Like, hey, I get to be here. I get to be out in the ocean trying to surf these waves, these giant things, and there's no trying. You're out there doing it. And each time it's like, get back up, do the simple things. Just pop up on the board, get better at popping up on the board, right? And as we start learning and going through these things, there's actual steps to this art of surfing who I get to be. And then it takes time to like, and I know I'm like layering in all of these like stories of my epiphany to prepare for this week, but it's just been a really meaningful week. Oh, gratitude. Um, my kids, I've been having some really deep and meaningful conversations with my kids these last few weeks where they've been bringing forward some difficult things to say to your father. And I get to be the father now, where my kids are doing the things that I know I do with my parents. And just that space of seeing this, I just got the mosquito. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Sorry, mosquito. You don't.
One less bloodsucker on the planet.
I.
Now for the politicians.
That's it. Yeah. So back to my kids. Grace, grace, grace to you, mosquito. Um, is just this space of practice that it's like we just keep showing up. We keep getting out there. I can't determine what a great surfer I'm gonna be, or that I'm ever gonna like have this thing be any better than it is. But I think this is the piece that I'm starting to realize is like I get to just let go of all these things out there and how they're really happening. I I in a sense coming from a space of taking on so much more than I need to, taking this energetic like it's my responsibility that I have to do this stuff to make this difference in the world, and shifting into like just get to keep surfing. There's going to be so many waves. There were waves how many eons before I was here and how many eons after I'm gone, and that this is exactly the way it needs to be, that we're expressing all these upsets and difficult things, these things that seem like they're tsunamis that are wiping away things that are right there on the coast, and it's like just change. And then we're going to keep coming back to, hey, I need to look at these things and process, hear difficult things spoken to me, that we can have conversations and drop in and do my part to hold space for this guy. That's it. And I'm grateful that I get to step up and be a father to three other humans, to be able to hold that space for their practice. And then, even as if that weren't enough, right? This Dayenu, this good Jewish celebration coming through for Brian over here. It's
Yep.
like as if that weren't enough, that spirit brought even more, that I get to have a wonderful community that I get to practice with, that I get to have one. I'm surrounded by wonderful friends here in Asheville. I got such an amazing group of friends in Austin that I've been talking to, and then it continues to expand. I'm meeting new people and new things are happening. It's like, oh, this energy of the field is shifted, and it's like reminding me that, okay, oh, ground these big giant energies, because the I gotta be a good boy is just as much a trap as I'm ashamed of who I am, that I'm a bad boy.
Mhm.
That's been coming through, that I get to allow, yeah, they're both charges, they're both judgments, they're both this like I'm this thing that is right and I fit in and I belong, or I'm like traditionally this thing that I got to get kicked out or get disciplined, or I better mess it up before you can, like I'm gonna self-sabotage or play small, that sort of thing. And now I'm like, I'm just gonna be. I want to just have fun. I'm gonna go out and do a big giant thing because it's exciting and I get to live and be alive. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to be awful, but I'm also not trying to be this holy saint of powerful effervescence and energetic vibrosity for your holiness and internal connection to the one source of all being. It's like, man, I'm just here to
You're not doing that.
yeah, I mean, if that's what you're doing, great. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just here being. I think for me, like, I got all these beautiful, wonderful necklaces and outfits and all these like things, and now I'm just like t-shirt and shorts, and I don't even have jewelry on anymore. Where it has all used to, not wrong, not bad. That's just where I was at then, and I ain't there no more. This isn't wrong or bad. It's just keep surfing, bro. Keep practicing being who I get to be. And so that's the end of my talk. Is this idea is all these things ebb and flow, and we get to see these like things that I used to be, and I'm turning 49 in a couple weeks. And so talk to my kids this week about all that stuff, and it's just all these like cascading layers that I can't determine if it's the field has shifted or if there's some sort of spark emerging and I'm able to see something differently. But I don't care.
Mhm.
My experience is here. And whether it's I'm the good boy and everybody's in love with me and I'm as famous as whoever, Bob, somebody, Bob Hope in the 40s, whatever. That this is random. Where that came from, I do not know. Um, or if I'm a pariah and everybody kicks me out and I never get beat, I get exiled, like I'm at peace with all things. And it's just like this space that's a new layer of it of like, oh yeah, I just get to be out here surfing, bro. Get to be out here catching that next rip curl, catching that next tube, just riding my next lightning. You know what I mean, bro? One day I'll ride off into the great eternal riptide and just be floating out in the great nothingness. And then my kids will get to be with their grandkids and their grandkids and their grandkids. So there you go. Oh,
Surf is a wonderful image because when you go surf, and all this is an imagination for me. When you get on the board, I would guess there have been no two rides alike.
right.
Every one, you're fully invested in the ride that you're, and as soon as it's over, it's gone, and you're looking forward in the future to the next one. You're not sitting there and saying, "Oh, that way that they did that to me," and it was no. You were in present in the moment and had that experience, and it's so peaceful that we want to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where we're all surfing.
Yeah.
We're all surfing our spiritual process.
Yeah.
I love the analogy because it's so personal, it's so relevant for all of us to realize that we're in surfing mode.
Yeah. Well said.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right. Doug, that reminds me of like in as a teacher, right? I taught for 12 years. There's this idea of breaking things down to be able to practice the elements. So like you're saying, like popping up and you now are in a brand new environment. So you get to learn after every time that there's these ways that you're going to start making meaning of the practice. You can go practice before you ever do it, but it's in that doingness that you're integrating, that you're becoming the learner for the teaching. So like getting to like at the beginning when you're first doing it, imagining each step that you're walking through logically, and I got to do this step and then this step, and then it's slowly that integrates into, oh, I figured this part out, and it just flows together. It's you just keep doing it, and you keep improving, and over time getting better with it. Like Brian said, hopefully.
Kind of like learning to speak again.
Woo! God knows about that. Brian, to point.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. What's that bring up for everybody else? Anybody else want to share on camera?
I just love the analogy. I mean,
Yeah.
because like it's like Doug was saying, just being with the wave
Hmm.
and knowing that the waves will keep coming. So like if you ride the perfect wave and do the perfect thing, riding the perfect wave, okay, that was done.
Yeah.
Next.
Next.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like who cares if you get a perfect wave? You just want to be surfing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's a great analogy for where we are in a spiritual life to step into the surfing the joy of the life we're living.
Mm, mm,
We're still in training mode with the Empath X from a broad standpoint, but we're actually getting pretty good at surfing, and we know the rhythms, and we kind of expect that it's gonna be more and more fun as we keep on going.
Hmm.
Jane, did you want to throw something in there?
Yeah, I just love the something that came up when I was thinking about it too is that, you know, babies don't, you know, plot the timeline of the perfect wave, they're not surfing, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, it's like all watching my nephew when he was learning to walk, and it was just this restless. He was sweating. He really wanted to be up on his feet, but it wasn't like the achievement, but it just seems like there's this thing that happens when what you're talking about kicks in. And the things that teach me that every day are like looking at little tiny kids and looking at animals. Like it just, if I'm strayed into my mind wasteland of like judgment and anticipation or whatever, I can just, if I'm out, I can tune into that. And I don't do it consciously, but frequently it feels like something's nudging at me. It's like, oh, that's right. That's right. See that? It's like there's like joy in the moment of whatever we're doing. And I think that's the point, is like the presence, like how much of you are here right now in this second.
Mhm.
Like how much of you is like engaged without being thinking about something else or in future or someone. You know what I mean? Like you're really,
Mhm.
yeah.